StitchyTube, settle down and watch StitchyTube with me and Hamrock. He's still around. Hey everybody, Hamrock and I say hello. It is July the 17th, and this is StitchyTube number 62. I'd be pretty close to collecting Social Security at this point, I think, if I was that many years along. 62, lucky number 62. Welcome, if those of you who are new, and welcome to those of you who are old. And welcome to those of you who accidentally stumbled on this video and have no idea what cross-stitching even is. Stick around, you'll learn something. Good to see everybody. It's been a little bit of a while, but it's not because I haven't been thinking of you, and it is just because I've been busy. It's been a busy year. I think the last time I spoke to you was just shortly after Expo, which was in, I don't even know, it's in like March or something. And I've been busy. I've been busy not only working late into the wee hours of the morning, but also crafting, and I've had to do some traveling too. So it just has really been a pretty crazy couple of months as far as just hard to find time to shoot a StitchyTube. I do get letters from people saying, I miss you, come back, please. Here I am. I'm back. And we'll start by getting old business out of the way, which is the drawing from last time. The drawing last time was a giveaway, and the prize is a reproduction sampler chart of your choice from my website. And the question was, what project have you been working on? And the winner is Rosemary Seabolt. And she said she's been working on Pastel Reflections Pink House by CW Designs, and I'll put a picture of it here. It's been too long, I don't remember which way to point. I'll put a picture here, and I remember that one. I think I stitched one of their designs for my mom, like way back when it was in a magazine. It was kind of fun. It's full coverage, kind of shady stucco houses kind of vibe to it. And so Rosemary, congratulations. Contact me in my email address below to collect your prize. Next time the prize is, which whip do you wish was just finished already? If there was like a magic wand that said you can automatically just make something finished, which one would that be? For me, it would be Hannah Pepper. I didn't take it out to show you. I have the frame even. All I have left is to finish stitching the verse over one. And it's on 40 count, and I do full crosses. And what I need to do, my plan was, when I picked out the frame, was to once a week do one thread's length and then just quit, because it's I don't want to say tedious, it's meticulous work. And usually the time I don't wake up and stitch, I squeeze stitching in at the end of the day when I'm done working. And so sometimes that means it's 10 o'clock at night or 11 and midnight, and by then my eyes are kind of blurry, and that's not a good excuse. I just wish it was done already. Magic wand would be great. So just tell me what whip do you was finished already, and the prize is a $25 gift card to my website to spend on what you like. I thought I would start out with what I have been working on. My New Year's resolution at the start of the year was stitch every day, and I'm not one to beat myself up too much about things that don't get accomplished. I don't necessarily stitch every day, but I'm stitching way more this year than I did in 2020. 2020, I really didn't get much done, and this year I'm really trying to squeeze some crafting time in, because I find that it makes me feel happier. That's why I'm in this business, and it seems silly to me that y'all should get to stitch the stuff I send you and that I don't get to stitch anything. So I have one finished project that I stitched. I started it this year, and I just finished it. It's called Feather Your Nest by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. This is not a chart that I carry. I think you can get it through Brenda only at countrystitchesonline.com. And it's an older one. I mean, it's, I don't know, probably 10 years old maybe. But it's really cute. I think she stitched hers on like maybe 28 count even weave over one. And I did mine on 40 count flax with just the DMC as called for. I just stitched it in the DMC, which is what it was charted for. And I think it's just cute. I love that big bird. He's a chubby fella. So that's one that I fully finished since last time I saw you. And I think I started it too. I have been working on one by Liz Matthews called Butterfly Cloche. And it was one that came out right around the online needlework show Expo. And I was enamored with it immediately. I loved that it was really different. This is how far I've gotten so far. And there's a cloche, you know, like that goes up above the whole group of butterflies. And I'm stitching mine in the needlepoint silks as called for. And it's very, very pretty. Highly recommend it. It's just a beautiful little chart. And, you know, for those of us who stitch samplers, it still kind of has that old-timey vibe without being another alphabet. So I'm really enjoying that one. I have so much to show you today. I brought one that my friend Kathy Krause, who stitches for me and has been a friend of mine for a long, long, long time, finished Marjorie Massey's Quaker Street. And she lives in Wisconsin, in a suburb of Milwaukee, and she literally does not have a frame shop in her town. And I didn't believe her, and I went and looked. There is no frame. She doesn't have a local frame shop. So she sent me this piece to take to Neblets for her to frame it. And she just said, she gave me a budget, and then she just said, just, you know, pick something out and have them do it. And I haven't shipped it to her yet, so I thought I'd show it to you. It's this one here, Quaker Street. She did a beautiful job stitching it, as always. And Neblets did all the framing. They used conservation glass, and the frame is kind of a black, you know, just a black frame. And then it's got a beautiful kind of warm silver lip on the frame, which looks really nice with kind of the, you know, the fabric that she chose. I don't remember what she stitched it in. There's a lot of stitching in this one. This is a chart that I sell, Quaker Street. But it sure is cute. The framer, when I picked it up, said, what does the designer have against the letter A? Because there's no A here, and then there's no A, over here. See, at the end of Quaker, it starts with letter B. So I said, I don't know. You know, it's just how she decided to design it. But I think that one's awfully, awfully cute. And Kathy did a great job. I know she's going to be happy to get that. And Neblets is such a bargain. It was $112 total for the glass, the stretching, the foam core, the spacer, the frame. I don't know how they do it. Jennifer and I were saying their prices are like, it's the 90s still. And they don't do like mail order framing. It's just a little local frame shop. And it's a great little secret that we have here in Hattiesburg. And then I worked on something out of the ordinary. I have started carrying Moda fabric. You all might know that. And I've been kind of in a mood to make something on the sewing machine. I have a beautiful Bernina machine that I bought maybe 8 years ago. And it's just a little workhorse. I love it. And I get a couple of different magazines that are like crafting and quilts and applique and that kind of thing, because it's fun even to just look at them, even if you don't do the kinds of things that they have. I got this magazine. It was the spring 2021 issue of Simply Vintage Quilts and Crafts. And this is a nice little magazine. I think you can subscribe online. Just Google Simply Vintage Quilts and Crafts. And it has 19 projects in it. I don't remember how much the subscription runs. If you buy one magazine, so if you buy a single magazine, it's $19. It's $18.99. But I don't remember with here's some of the other projects that were in this particular issue. So it's a really cute little magazine. And I was completely in love with this quilt on the front. You know me and wabi sabi. I like things that are not matchy-matchy. And to me, that just seemed like it would be a pretty easy to do. It's just the same thing over and over again, and then you just kind of put them in random places, and it doesn't matter what fabrics you use. And I have quite a nice collection of fabrics. And so when I came home, I'll tell you later, but I went to a trip in Iowa this spring, and I got to go to the Little Red Hen, and they're a kind of a, really, really, really nice quilt store. They carry cross stitch and punch needle and stuff too. And I got some fabrics there, and I brought them home, and Steve said, what are those for? And I said, I'll just throw them on the pile, I guess. But I ended up using a bunch of them and then things that I have, and I made a quilt top this month over the course of 2 weekends. I think it was over the 4th of July weekend. And so here's what it looks like. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but I think it's really cute. And the fabrics really are just ones that I've collected. And I made it queen size. The one on the cover was, I don't know, it ended up being kind of a weird size. I think it was like 5 feet by 5 feet, which really isn't big enough to do any, like for a bed. And so this is I made it a queen size. And so it will fit on the guest room bed now, what used to be Graham's room. And so this will be, when we get visitors, they can sleep under this. I just have to get some quilt batting and then get it to, there's a local lady who does the long arm quilting. But anyway, I did that, like I said, over the course of 2 weekends. I think it was 3 different days I worked on it. And it was fun. I really actually had a very good time. So that is that. Did I have anything else here? Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot them in the other room. Okay, I'm going to go grab them, but I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. So there were 3 other things that I finished. I think I've got myself down to like 18 whips, which I feel is pretty good. And a couple of those might just be give-ups. They're things I just barely even started that I was not loving for whatever reason, didn't like the threads or didn't like the fabric I picked. And they're things I could just pick out and start over some other time. I finished this, A Zenith Whitcomb by Kathy Barrick. It's a carriage house samplings chart. And you can see my carries. There'll be a tan colored piece of mat board will go behind that, and all those threads will disappear on the front. I carry my thread. That's how I roll. But anyway, this was a fun one to do. This was actually a piece that I carried with me in the car when Graham was still little. Like I used to take it with me, like if he'd have a dentist appointment or something, it was in the car and I would work on that in the waiting room. So it has those kind of memories attached to it. But I do have a frame for that. I just have to stretch it. I finished this one, which I started, I want to say Stitch Mania 2019. Garden Vegetables by Kathy Barrick. And this one was fun to stitch. I really enjoy stitching letters and numbers. I do. I know there are some people that don't, but if you do, this is a perfect piece for that. I stitched that on a piece of, I want to say Victorian motto fabric. I feel like I'm not quite light enough. It's getting dim outside. We're going to get a shower, I think. So that's Garden Vegetables by Kathy Barrick. And then this one I started and finished, I think, since last time I talked to you. And this is Summer Delivery by Plum Street Samplers. And looking at the cover of the chart, I thought, oh, it's kind of big. It's really not. I mean, you can see, here's my hand. Not that big. Oh, here comes Ruby. So this one was a lot of fun to do, actually, and it stitched pretty quickly. So this one I used the called for threads. Garden Vegetables, I used the needlepoint silks that as called for, but there's a DMC conversion. And then A Zenith Whitcomb, it was supposed to be stitched in a blue silk, and I stitched it in Antique Black by Gloriana. But this one is just stitched on a piece of my dyed fabric. It was just a scrap I had. And I have a frame for that one too. I think it's really, really cute. Do you think it's cute, Ruby? Do you think it's cute? She looks at me. I don't know what you're saying, lady. So those are those. Okay. And I picked back up Ann Thomas 2 nights ago by Hands Across the Sea samplers. But I don't think I got any stitching done yesterday. Okay. Now I did some traveling in June. Jennifer and I went to a retreat organized by Farm Girl that was super fun in Osage, Iowa, at the Stitchery Nook. And I'll put a link to them below. They have a really nice retreat facility. Really nice, like perfect. They've thought of everything. There's, a couple bedrooms with multiple beds. And there's a huge classroom with separate tables for everybody. They've got like things that you might need, like an ironing board and irons. And they have a beautiful kitchen, a living room with a TV with like couches and recliners. There's a kitchen where you can cook food. It's really a great facility. And I think you can just organize it, like a group of friends to go. And the shop is right downstairs. So if you need things, you can run down. It's connected. So that was really cool. We went there. On the way, we drove. We stopped at the Little Red Hen. I got to look it up. In Muscatine, Iowa. And, I don't know when I'll get back there. I hope I get back there sometime. You could spend 2 days in there. Seriously, it's an enormous building. It's like connected to it's like a big kind of barnish sort of building. And I'll try to put some pictures here. And they've got quilting and applique and cross stitch and punch needle and, you know, wools that you can buy, so much fabric, and it just is kind of a paradise, really. The people were very, very nice and helpful. There was one kit that they were out of when we went, and we have since received it. Jen and I bought a quilt, which I was going to try to find that kit, and I don't know where I put it. I put it away. I put it away, Ruby. But that was a super fun time. And so we stopped there on the way, and I got some kits. So Little Red Hen does also design their own projects. This was a really cute little tiny kit. And it comes, look at this kit. $22. It comes with the pattern and everything you need, except batting probably. But this was just a little, so cute, so cute. This was an applique kit that I got, and I thought that was really cute too. Comes again with all the wools. I got a couple of patterns. This is Threads That Bind. I like her designs. This was a funny Santa, and the quilt kit, or a quilt, just a chart that I thought was kind of neat. This is an old Brenda G punch needle project, Bittersweet and Broomsticks. That's nothing I carry. I think you can get it on her website. And then they had a bunch of these finished these were super cute. Who were they by? Kathy Schmitz. And she had different cats that you stitch up. Kind of embroidery style projects. Oh, and then I got this one too. This is a runner. And again, comes with everything. Would you ever, I mean, like, so this, I don't remember how much this kit was, but if you had to buy like a core yard of all the wools, it would be so expensive. It's really nice just to be able to get these kits. This one's called Rustic Star Table Runner from Heart to Hand. They do have a website, and I'll put a link below. They have a really great website that you can order kits and fabrics and tools and all kinds of things. But if you're in the area, if you're in Iowa, would highly, highly, highly recommend you stop by. You will want to just like bring a cot and sleep overnight so you can get up and do it again. And then I did get some things at the Stitchery Nook too in Osage, the retreat center that we stayed at. People ask me sometimes, like, you know, oh, you probably don't buy much if you go to another store. No, I always buy stuff. Partly because I can't carry everything, and sometimes shops have things that I can't carry, don't carry, you know, haven't found, things that are out of print, hard to get. And where did I put them? Oh, so I got a bunch of Seraphim fabrics, which I don't carry, but I had heard really good things about them. And so they had some Seraphim fabrics. This one is called Tobias. It's kind of a sandy color. I got, and I think I got quarter yards and half yards. This one is called Antique Lace. This one is called Regency. And they're all neutrals. This one is Caramel, which is kind of has like a peachy vibe. And then this one, I got a half yard of this. Silver Lining, which I thought was really pretty. The colors are kind of, this is kind of like Beige Week Dye Works is really what that color is like. But I got those, and then they also have a really good selection of threads. I will put their website down below as well, if I haven't said that already. If you need needlepoint silks, I don't remember if they carry a Verissois, but their website is very complete and has a shopping cart, and you can put things right in your cart and pay for them. The website works much like mine. But I needed some silken colors that I didn't have for Kathy Barrick's Dutch sampler, which I want to start. And they had them. Like any thread that I was like, ooh, I need these, they had them. I needed a couple of needlepoint silks for something, and they had them. And when I came home, I needed a couple of needlepoint silks for the butterfly cloche piece, and I ordered them on their website, and like 3 or 4 days later, here they came in the mail. So I would highly recommend, if you can't stop by their shop, definitely check out their website, especially threads. Threads are so hard to find these days, and they seemed really stocked up on weeks and sampler threads and classic color works. And like I said, they have a lot of silks too, and sometimes threads are hard to come by, so definitely check them out. They're very sweet people there. Okay, oh, and I got this one more thing. I went looking online last week for Blackbird Designs quilt books, and I found a copy of this on Amazon for $40. And it came out So this was a Kansas City Star book. It originally retailed for $25. Let's see if it says when it came out. I hadn't remembered seeing this one. Does it say 2003? So it's pretty old. So it's 18 years old already. But it's basically celebrating women who served during World War II. Look at these quilts. OMG. They're really, really cool. And these. And it's a neat book because they have like these profiles of women and like stories that they have to share. So it'll be really fun to look at. And they do have some like applique projects, punch needle, embroidery, and then there's a cross stitch chart in there too. This one. Try not to get the glare. So anyway, Women of Grace and Charm by Blackbird Designs. It is out of print, and I bought this. I'm going to talk about Barb in a minute, but I bought this like a week and a half ago, and the next day there was one up and they wanted $801 for it, which is crazy. But anyway, I really was glad to get my hands on this one because, like I said, it wasn't one that I had seen before, and I think it's such a clever idea to honor these people who helped in a time of need. Okay, let's talk about what I'm all into. Ruby, I'm all into you. Ruby has been really happy this year. She's just so lovey-dovey. I got her some new toys this weekend. She was so happy. Did you get some toys? Okay, I am all into Alabama peaches right now. I get a massage every other week, just 2 miles up the road at a guy who has an office next to a gas station on the interstate. And I initially selected him like 3 or 4 years ago when I was having chronic pain issues. And I see him every 2 weeks, and it really, really helps. He's very good. I go for 90 minutes, and sometimes it's just like one arm. Like he will just work on one part that I'm having trouble. And next door to there is a little farmer's market, and I never, sometimes, like I went in once or twice, and I was like, oh, okay, I know this is here, but when I'm done with the massage, it's like I got to go home. So 2 weeks ago, I went, and she had really nice vegetables. I got a cucumber and a red pepper, and I got a pound cake, which I took to Jen's one day, and that was really good. They make homemade pound cakes. It was a lime, really good, and they had Alabama peaches. And what you see here is at the farmers markets is they'll fill like a little basket, and then they keep the basket. You just dump, and so it's just a flat price for whatever's in the basket. So you pick the one that you like the best. And I know that people often say like, oh, Georgia peaches. Everybody thinks Georgia is the peach place. I'm telling you, Alabama, they got it going on in the peach department. They are so sweet. I pounded through 6 of those like in a couple of days, and I've got more on the way. This is a time of year that my husband is typically up in Minnesota, so I've kind of been batching it here at home for the last month and a week or so. So I ate a lot of peaches, and I went and grabbed some more yesterday, but so good. They're so good. I'm all into my wool ironing mat that I got from Sue as a gift, I don't know, like a year or 2 ago. It's a big woolen gray kind of felted mat that you can just put on your tabletop or whatever and use it to iron. And I love that. I always hate getting out the ironing board and kind of crocodile opening it. And ours was all squeaky and it's just kind of rattly and stuff. I just really it's like an 18 by 24 mat. And it works really great for just ironing small things. In fact, I used it just now to iron my whips to show you. And it just seems like it's just so much quicker to put away and set up. I'm all into afternoon thunderstorms. We're kind of having one right now. There's kind of rumblings off in the distance. I know that a lot of parts of the country have had trouble with, is the mail here? Yeah, I'm going to get some packages. A lot of parts of the country have been having trouble with drought this year. We are not. It is soaking wet down here. Like everything is so green. All of my bushes need to be trimmed now because they've shot up giant shoots. And so they're all looking a little bit ragged. But it seems like every day around this time, 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, all of a sudden we're getting a thunderstorm. And I love a thunderstorm. I don't mind cloudy weather. I'm very indoorsy, and I just feel like an afternoon thunderstorm often makes you just feel really like cozy. I'm all into stitching at the kitchen table. Like I said, I have been stitching more this year, and my therapist recommended that I get out of the office. Ruby's so funny because she'll growl when somebody comes to the front door. Who is that, Ruby? Go get her. And my Saturday mail lady is afraid of animals. So she thought I had dogs, but I don't. What was I talking about? Oh, my therapist said get out of your office because I literally am working probably 60, 70 hours a week. Pretty easily, I'm doing that. And I sit at the kitchen table now to stitch instead of in my stitching chair. It's why, I don't know if you have noticed the last couple of videos, my light isn't by my chair. It's just a way to separate myself from work, and it makes it really nice. It feels like a change up. I'm all into a spaghetti salad I ate at Jen's house last week. I went over and we did some applique together in the afternoon. I brought the lime pound cake, and she made a delicious salad that she said she had years before. And then I think Brenda Gervais had a picture, like maybe on Instagram or something. And Jen was like, oh yeah, that's what was in it. So she kind of tried to like copy it. And I'll put the recipe below. It felt really like kind of fresh and summery because it uses, kind of vegetables and then chicken breast. And it was spaghetti, which seems weird as a salad, but it was like green peppers and black olives and tomato and cucumber. And then it was, like oil and vinegar, I think salt and pepper, Italian seasoning, Parmesan. Like it was just really good. And so I'll put the recipe below. I actually have chicken out of the freezer, and I'm going to make some this afternoon and kind of eat on it all week. I'm all into, where did they go? Okay, so I went to the post office yesterday, and they always have such cool stamps. I feel like they should do sampler stamps. I feel like they should. But they had these stamps. I always try to get fun ones to put on my bills. And they have these heritage breed stamps now that are just different kinds of breeds of farm animals. I just thought they were kind of neat. I don't know. I like fun stamps. Like, why not? Why not? They cost the same. We're all old enough now to remember, like, we're going to tell people, like, in 20 years, you used to have to lick a stamp. You don't want to do that now. Oh, and I'm all into, so in Osage, we got to do some fun things. Sue was there too, my friend Sue, my Raise the Roof partner, and Farm Girl was there, and Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher, was there, and Lori, Textilist, was there. I know I'm forgetting people, but it was Holly and Anita were there. Gosh, it was fun. We had a really, really fun time. And we tootled around in Osage, which is a small little town. I think it's like 4,000 or 5,000 people. It's not big at all. But they have some kind of neat little shops, like antiques and, just kind of cool places. And we went to this place called the Country Cupboard, but it's spelled with a K and a K. So Country K, Cupboard K. And they had some Australian licorice. And I love Australian licorice. I kind of grew up eating licorice. My mom would always get us Twizzlers when we would go spend time at the lake, at people's houses that we knew that had a lake. Because licorice doesn't melt. So it's a really good summer treat. Like if you're going to take candy along, it doesn't get melty. And Australian licorice is usually, instead of having a hole in the middle, it's solid in the middle. So it's like a little nib and it's ridged. And Country Cupboard had this strawberry flavored licorice, Italian licorice. Italian. Hey, it's Italian licorice. Australian licorice. Maybe the Italians have licorice and I just haven't tried it. And it's strawberry, and it's a real bright strawberry flavor. I'm kind of like a gourmand with licorice. It's a very bright strawberry flavor. Like it's tart. There's tartness there, and it's sweet, and it had a good chew, and I ate it all. And so I just called them before I made this video because I've been thinking about it. I was like, what am I all into right now? And I'm like, oh, I was so all into that licorice. And I called them, and they can ship me some. So I'm going to call. They said to call back on Tuesday when the guy is there who ships things. They carry a lot of really cool things. I don't think they have a website. I think they have a Facebook page, so they may have some of their products on there. But they also had some cool popcorns because Iowa is a good place to get popcorn. And I may have them send me some more mushroom popcorn. They had some different kinds, like little teeny popcorns. We're big into popcorn here in this house, and the mushroom popcorn kind of pops up and is semi-mushroom shaped. Like it's a nice big popped popcorn, which we like. Anyway, so I'm going to call them back. And that's what I'm all into this week and the last month or two, because I've been so negligent. Okay. I'm going to do my list of 10. And I'm sure most of you have heard by now. Barb Adams from the design team, Blackbird Designs, passed away on the 4th of July this year. And it was sudden. It was she was diagnosed 2 weeks prior with esophageal cancer, and it was bad. And Alma flew out, and I have heard that she was with Barb when she got the news, and they had kind of given her a biggish window. It could be anywhere from a couple of months to a couple of years, but she passed away like 2 weeks later. And so that was the 4th of July that she died. And then Monday night, I stayed up late actually working on that quilt. I think no, I worked that Monday. But anyway, I worked late until late on that quilt. And it was 2 o'clock in the morning when I finished. I was like, Trish, you got to go to bed. And so I picked up my cell phone and I see a text message. And, you flip open it, just, people joking around or whatever. And it said, just so you guys know, Barb Adams of Blackbird Designs passed away today of esophageal cancer, or yesterday. And sometimes you get news and it's like you can't even consume it. You can't. I was looking at the words and I was like, this doesn't make sense. What is this saying? What is this saying? Because it was like you just don't. It was so unexpected. No one really knew that she was sick. I mean, she didn't know she was sick. And it just was so out of the blue, She was 69, which is not old. And, has always seemed to be in good health, is kind of a vibrant, active person. And it was completely unexpected. And so it was devastating because she was just a bright star in the cross-stitch community. And I was talking to Rod at Hoffman yesterday, and he said, she was like, there's not like a nicer person in the industry. So nice, so talented, so friendly, so supportive of other designers and the shops, creative, taught at many retreats. Somebody was telling me, I think Kathy was telling me that there was a year that they taught like a retreat every month for like 6 months. Designed cross-stitch patterns, of course, designed fabrics and quilt patterns for Moda. And it's just the worst news. It's the worst news. And it will be so strange not to have her around, when I've known Barb for a long, long, long time. I've carried their patterns since since they started. What was it, like 1998 or something like that? And it's super sad. Like, it's just so, so sad. I did, if you go, I'll put a link below. If you go to my Market 2020 video, my Nashville Market video, I have an interview, a real just kind of breezy, like 1 or 2 minute interview with Barb about Paul McCartney. She and I were fellow Paul McCartney fans. And I've seen him 3 times. I think she saw him 38 times or something crazy like that, including like when she was a young girl. And so I just chatted with her about Paul McCartney just for a minute or two in their booth. She and Alma were always a little camera shy. And it was just fun to catch her in the moment. Just super friendly lady. Just the best. And so it feels just rotten that she's gone. For me, and we were not close friends. It's not like I talked to her all the time. I saw her once a year and visited with her. And, that's about, my interactions with her. I have always ordered their charts through Hoffman and Yarn Tree. And I carry a lot of their charts still. And to me, it's like all these ghosts of patterns that will never happen. And, I wish I had gotten to tell her like how great she was, and you just don't imagine when you see someone that it's the last time that you're going to see them. So my heart goes out to Alma, who's lost a great partner in crime, partner in design, I guess, and her family and friends. Because like I said, this just was, there's never a good way to lose somebody. My dad is getting ready to go into memory care, and we've lost him in pieces over the last couple of years. His memory has pretty much just gone. And that's not a good way to lose somebody either. It's not good if it's sudden. It's not good if it's protracted. But I miss Barb already. It sucks. So I thought I would show, for my list of 10 this week, I thought I would show 10 projects. I think I picked 11. I just ran around the house taking things off the walls. And Zero, are you going to let me do that? Show these things? He likes to get all snuggly. So these are not going to be in any order. This was one I stitched a couple of years ago. It's from the book In Friendship's Way. And that one's still available. Oh, I stitched it in 2018. It's right on there. And these little boxes, I think you can still get at Hobby Lobby. You paint them. They have directions on what to do. And then I, finished the inside with like Barb would do. She liked collecting all kinds of little like doodads and whatnots. And so I've got just kind of miscellaneous things in there. That little cameo is just one that showed up in a batch of buttons that I bought. And I thought that was really, that's something Barb would have done. And I think this is one of their fabrics in there too. So anyway, that's one. And that was a fun one to do. Their directions are always really good too. I know that, I think Carol, Saltbox Stitcher, was joking that like, if you took a class from them, you better be ready to paint, because they loved to get the paint out and make everybody do some painting. This one, I don't remember what it's called, but I think it's in the book, and Blossoms as a Rose. I think it's in one of their books. It's still available. And this is one that I stitched as a, just a small, and it's got an antique glass button in the middle to kind of make it pucker. So it's kind of, what do they call that? Not gusseted. You know what I'm saying. Tufted. Pillow? I don't know. Whatever. But that was a fun one to do. And they kind of were, they kind of have been the queens of the smalls. It's a lot of their classes that they taught you did smaller things. This was one I stitched this year already. And this was from their Sewing Club book, which just came out recently. And it was finished originally as a drum. And I just liked the pattern so much that I wanted to finish it like a pillow like this, so you could see the whole thing at one time rather than, a drum, you can only see a little fraction of it. And so the finishing, I did kind of just a whip stitch on the edges just to make it look like I hand sewed it together. I actually used the machine because it's more secure that way, but then I whip stitched over that to make it look kind of hand finished. And then, I just put some, different buttons on the end and attached them in different ways. And that one turned out really cute too. I think I pretty much use the called fors if I have them, and if not, I'll sub out something that's close. And I stuffed that one with sawdust, and the backing fabric actually was a Blackbird Designs homespun that they released. I had a fat quarter pack, and I've used that for finishing. So that's that one from Sewing Club. I'm gonna run out of room here. Mr. Z. This one is called Spring Fling. And this was a loose feathers piece that came out a long time ago. A long time ago. This probably would have been around like 2002-ish maybe. And it is long, long, long out of print. My friend Sue, I think, has this pattern of mine. But it was a fun one to stitch. It's stitched on an R&R fabric color that they don't make anymore. You can't really tell, but it's kind of a yellowy green. It's really a pretty little piece, and it whipped up real fast. Eastside Moldings frame. And Eastside Moldings, I don't know if y'all know, I think they have an Etsy store. So if you don't have a place to get frames, I think you can order custom frames through them at their Etsy store. Eastside Moldings. This one is from a book called Thank You, Sarah Tobias. And it was, it's kind of like a Pennsylvania German sampler. I took the girl's name and put my name instead, and I made myself run off the edge and then put my E below, just because they would do that kind of thing. And I spilled something on this sampler while I was stitching it, so I over dyed it with like coffee and some dye to make it look like really old, and I super like it. It's really a great one. This one was, so this was part of a Loose Feathers Club series from like, I don't know, like 2008-ish maybe. And the deal was like the charts had, 5 of the charts had a piece of this in it. Or 4 of the charts, maybe, I don't know. But there was, you got these as a bonus in each of the Loose Feathers. These are not available. And I mean, you're not going to find them online at this point. I have mine loaned out to a friend. But I stitched mine, I think they stitched theirs on, I'll take this out. I stitched mine on 40 count, like an R&R coffee or tea dye. Theirs, I think they stitched on like a 30 count. I love it small, and it was really fun to do. It was really fun to do. I really do like that one. Like I said, I'm sorry I don't remember the name of that series. It was a Loose Feathers series. I honestly, I just can't remember. Sorry. Sorry, I'm getting old. Right, Zero? I'm getting old and I don't remember. This one is, oh crap, what's this one called? I can't think of it. So I was excited this week to find that Hoffman got these back in stock, and I should have more on Monday. But it's the series that you stitch on. Now I stitched on 30 count like called for, so it would fit in this box from Hobby Lobby, and you can still get these boxes. And it was not hard to finish. I just used the stretching, you know, the way I stretch. If you haven't seen it, I have a video on how to stretch needlework, how to frame your pieces. And I just used pins and little pieces of foam core and, you know, basically followed their instructions. I used, you know, glue to stick them in the bottom and some batting. Under here, I think they said, I think they used Jello boxes, I want to say, or something crazy like that for here to build it up. But I just did multiple layers of foam core cut the same size. And the color of fabric I used is not available anymore. I'm sorry, a lot of these things come and go, guys. The what was it? It's looking more yellow on here, but it's actually a kind of a vibrant, like a tart. I want to call it a tart orangish kind of color, and I really like it. I think they stitched theirs on like Confederate gray, and I just really like this kind of it's just like a, you know, it's kind of a pumpkin-y color, but it turned out really cute. It's only a few colors. It's a little bit putsy in terms of like you're stitching on tiny little pieces and then framing them, but it turns out super, super cute. And then I finished the box using their directions precisely, and it looks just like theirs on the cover. So like I said, their finishing instructions are usually pretty good. And I was real pleased with how this came out. I lost that for a while. I couldn't find it, and then I found it. I don't know. I found it and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, I don't know where it was. This one is called Birds of a Feather. I don't think this was a Loose Feathers. This was just a release that was like, they had a sampler that sort of looked like this, but they kind of did their spin on it, where they kind of moved a few elements around and changed it up a little bit. I think the original model was stitched in needlepoint silk. I did mine, I think, in sampler threads and just picked colors. I don't know what they are. You know, I just kind of was picking through my stash, but I really always liked this chart. And I'm going to say, back when this came out, I was like, this chart is good. And I stitched it right up, and in my shop, people would see it. The frame is perfect. And I hung it right by my desk because it was one of my favorite ones. And anybody who saw it was like, oh, I love that. Like, I never would have picked that chart up, but it is so pretty. And now it's out of print now. You know, you never know. They might bring it back, but I always liked this one. I don't know. I like those two birds kind of facing each other off in the lollipop flowers. Just a really, really cute piece. Okay, this is another one that's discontinued, and I borrowed this chart from a friend, I think last year. Right, Zero? And to all a good night. This was a Loose Feathers piece, and it was actually a pretty quick stitch. I stitched it on I think it's a 40 count. Gosh, it almost looks like Lakeside linens. It's either Lakeside or R&R. And I used the called fors, which were sampler threads, I think. But that one's really cute. That's out of print. Sorry. It's not in a book that I know of. Sorry. Sorry. This one is called Be Kind and True. And I didn't stitch this one. My friend Kathy stitched this for me for my birthday one year. And I think this was a loose feathers pattern. And again, sorry, this one's not available, not in a book. She did put 2006 on it, so it's been a while. But that one's really, really cute. I picked out a pretty glitzy frame. It's got kind of a copper finish to it. And she also stitched me this one way back when. Did she date it? 2003. And this one is old and it is not available. And I think this one was called Happy Birthday. And I know they have another one called Happy Birthday that's in like a series that's still available. This is not that one. You can see that the design is, their earlier designs were very much more, I would say, kind of prim. That they kind of, as they tightened up their design style, it got a little less primitive looking. Both are great. I like both styles, but you can definitely see, you know, kind of the Blackbird influence there. But this one's really, really pretty. Okay, and I didn't number these. I think it was more than 10. I think it's 12-ish. Oh gosh. See, I don't know. I don't know what this one was called either. This was a loose feathers also. And this one I stitched, I think, on a 30 count by R&R. Creekbed Brown, maybe, or something like that. And it's really cute. I like the geese. I like the house. It's really, really sweet. I have a ton of their charts in my own stash, their books and things. And, you know, there's been a lot of interest in their charts over the last 2 weeks. You know, people are worried about missing out on things. And, you know, my advice to people is always, you know, if you see something that you love, I do it too, where you see something you're like, oh, I love that. I'll get it later. And things happen sometimes and you just don't know what the future holds. Lisa from the Primitive Needle passed away suddenly. It's been at least 10 years now. And she did kind of primitive designs, and she was really hitting her stride, and she was killed in kind of a freak accident. Her car went into floodwaters, and it was just aftermarket. And instantly, like, her whatever charts she had created to that point was all that were left. There weren't more reprints. And it's one of those things where people kind of kick themselves, and now some of her charts sell for $200 on eBay. And I'm not telling you to panic buy anything. I'm just saying that, like, these days what I do, if I see something that I like, I think to myself, like, what would happen, like, let's say tomorrow I found out that this was discontinued. How sad would I be that I hadn't picked one up? And it's usually a pretty good indication of, like, how much you really would like to add that to your own stash. I haven't really seen much of a problem with Blackbird Designs availability. I carry probably like 125 different listings from them. Right now, I think I have like 107 in stock. I've got more on the way. I'll have more on Monday. But I've been, you know, kind of assured from people in the know that the supplies shouldn't really be an issue, that there are continue to be things shipped directly to Hoffman from the printer. And, you know, but it's a good occasion, I think, to just, I mean, there are some people that you're like, I don't know if, like, Barb realized, like, what a trendsetter she was, or how, you know, like, her presence shifted the look of design. You know, I think there are designers that definitely take something and make it, you know, they pour their soul into it, and they pour their style into it, and you're like, oh yeah, that's amazing, because it just feels so, like, authentic and perfect. And I loved that, you know, Barb and Alma have always both been kind of just wabi-sabi queens, right? They love things that are, like, it's kind of like the Velveteen Rabbit, things that are kind of worn and frayed and stained. And I love that. Like, I love, just the celebration of it's kind of a celebration of time, like the age of things. And Barb was just one of those people who just like came in, fell in love with cross stitch. The cross stitch community fell in love with her, and we're just all really going to miss her. And I think, I know a lot of people are stitching her pieces now, and I think that's a great way to remember her. Whether you knew her or not, or whether you even knew what she looked like or not, she was important to us, because I just can't even, like, the number of hours people have put into stitching things that she created or sewing with fabrics that she created. It's not even countable. You can't even measure that. And just think about like how much love that brings to the world, and enjoyment and beauty. And we will all miss Barb for sure. Hey, I'm sitting here editing my video and printing out invoices that have come in today. And I did want to mention, I forgot to when I was making my video, that Moda is coming out with a line of Blackbird Designs kind of retooled fabrics from the past. And they'll be delivered, I want to say January, roughly, is the delivery date. And so I'll be placing my order with Moda relatively soon. I think my catalogs are on the way, but I have seen pictures of the entire line. I'll just flash some to the side here so you can kind of see what they look like. Barb and Alma designed a lot of fabric for Moda, and it was really great that they had this project kind of under the works, already. And a lot of you maybe hadn't been aware of their fabrics, or maybe just didn't get a lot of it. They did regularly have fabric that was kind of a crossover to cross stitch and antique samplers, which I love. And so this is coming out, this will be coming out in a few months. I will be getting boatloads of fabric. The way that fabrics work, I think, the cross stitch community and the quilting community are close, but the ways that things happen are different. So with fabrics, designers design a line of fabrics, and then the quilt shops and the retailers see the pictures of what the fabrics are going to look like ahead of time. And then Moda will place an order for the fabric based on pre-orders. So we have to put pre-orders in, and that's really the only time that I'm guaranteed to get the fabric. If a line comes out and I've pre-ordered it and it sells out right away, sometimes if I go back to get more, it's too late, it's already gone. Because they figure out their run of fabric based on pre-orders, and then they add a certain amount based on, I'm sure they have some kind of a feel that they've developed over the years for like, okay, how much are we going to need in addition to what we already have pre-orders for? And I will be ordering in quantities as though I was building a Spanish armada to meet Queen Elizabeth in battle. I will buy a lot of this fabric because I just feel like it's going to be super popular. People will be excited to, get some, and, they did a great job on it. It's beautiful to see it back kind of in print. And like I said, I think these are tweaked a little bit in terms of color. And there are actually 40 fabrics in the line, 40 different fabrics. And so some of these fabrics are available in different colorways. And there are also some florals and some stripes and some smaller prints. I will be getting in fat quarter bundles and fat eighth bundles. And fat eighth bundles are great for cross stitchers because sometimes you just need a little piece of fabric to finish a small or to supplement something. I have had people say, who on earth would buy an 1/8 yard bundle? Well, for stitchers, they're actually pretty perfect because you often don't need a big piece. And this way you can see the entire line. But I just wanted to let you know that that is in the works. Kind of coincidentally, these pictures just hit my email this week. And, it's kind of sad all over again, but it's also nice because it's just like, it's kind of like Barb's, just still with us because her work and her creativity are still coming through. So I just wanted to mention that just for those of you who have heard rumors. I had been hearing rumors for a little while, and, you take it on pretty good authority that things are going to happen, but it was official this week. I got this email from my my rep at Moda, and she and I are both very excited about it. So anyway, I just thought I'd let you know. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. Just a few more things, and then I'm going to wrap up. I've had a few people asking me if I'm going to go to Galleria this year. Last year it was canceled due to the pandemic. I am not. I'm going to South Carolina to help move my dad into memory care, and I'll be gone that first week of September. Typically, when I've gone to Galleria, I've had to shut my website off for a couple of weeks, like before, and I start pulling things down and boxing them up, and then I have to drive it, 10 or 11 hours, and then haul it all inside and set up a booth. And I'm one person now. I don't have employees. I just don't know how I would even do that. And then I would, have to box it all up and bring back home what's left, and then completely redo my inventory. It's a lot of work. I don't love traveling. I don't know if I've said that before, but I really would be happy if I was just home every day. That's my favorite place to be. I don't even really like leaving the house all that much. I'm kind of like save up my errand running and try to get it all done at once, so I don't have to keep, heading into town. And so, it's not going to work out for me this year. That being said, if you are thinking about going to Galleria, you absolutely should. There will be plenty of great booths there, designers, shops. It's a very well-run show. It's a nice facility. I don't think I've heard I haven't heard any complaints about it. I've never heard anybody say like, oh, well, I couldn't find spoons or whatever. You get complaints like that from people about shows, just about little things. I haven't even heard that. And tons of people go, and everybody's really nice and excited, and it just is a great time. And so if you were thinking of going, do go. If you weren't thinking of going, go. I'm sure you can Google, Galleria Needlework Show, and you'll come up with it. It's in Missouri, St. Charles, and it's a great time. Would recommend that you go. I am going to the fall retreat in Iowa with Brenda Gervais, the farm girl has put together, and Jen and I are going to go, and we're going to fly this time, which means we won't be able to stop at fun places along the way, but that's okay. We will get to go to the the woolen needle, which is right near Amana there, but I'm very excited to go back to Amana. It's a great place to visit. And then I have a September retreat planned with some friends of mine, and we're going to go to Utah, and that's going to be like a week long too. And so I do have 3 trips coming up. I just went on a couple of trips. I went to Denver for almost a week, and I went to the retreat in Osage that was a 5-day trip or a 6-day trip. Okay. A couple of things in my shop. I always talk about 3 things from my shop. Number 1 is Fiber on a Whim Lugana, and I'll flash some colors to that, whatever that way is to you. And it's one of my favorite things that I carry now. I started carrying the Fiber on a Whim fabrics right during the online show. I placed my first order with them. I've been blazing through it. Their fabrics are pretty. I carried the 36 and 40 count because that's mostly what I sell. But I decided to get some of the 28 count in just on a whim, and I flippin' love that stuff. The colors are so beautiful, and I don't stitch on 28 count. I would totally stitch on that fabric. There's just something about the kind of cottony look of the Lugana with the way that they dye the fabric. The modeling is just beautiful. The colors are really, really nice. And so if you like to do like 28 count, over 2, or if you like to do over 1, like do a Prairie Schooler, Brenda G does some of her designs on 28 count over 1, or whatever. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. I've been considering getting the 32 count Lugana in too, and I may place an order for that. I think it would be a good product to add. I do go through a lot of fabric here in a week. Hundreds. I go through a lot of fabric. I'm ruining my hand essentially, but I go through a lot of fabric. Another thing that just came in is Jack-O-Lantern Jubilee by With Thy Needle and Thread. Brenda has started having some of her books printed, which I like. They're very, very nicely done. And that little book comes with 6 different smalls designs that have like a Halloween theme to them. And she had a Jelly Bean Jubilee was another one that was similar, if you're looking for another book like that. But I really like some of these. Brenda's having some of her charts, I'm going to say professionally printed, meaning just like the 4-color full color booklets, more like the Blackbird style, where it's like a really heavy cardstock cover, and very, very pretty. The other thing, so I got this thing in. I had talked to I have a new Moda rep, and she and I went out to breakfast. This was a couple months back, and I placed an order with her, and I don't remember why I ordered these, if they were new or if I just hadn't seen them before. They're from Fiskars, and they're snips. They're like thread snips. And here's what I like about these. We all have embroidery scissors, and embroidery scissors are typically, so I have some here, you know, they're like a tiny thin little scissors, right? And you set these like down, and then when you're stitching, you have to like, you know, try to pick them up, because they're, you know, they're thin, so they take some time to pick up, and, you know, snip them or whatever. So here, this one is substantial to grab onto. So like if you really can see it because it's not tiny. So you just put this to the side, and when you pick it up, it's easy to pick up, and you can clip your threads with them. It's also strong and sturdy enough that you could use it to cut fabric or like trim corners, that kind of thing. One cool thing is that it has this, it has a button here. And so you can clip it together, push the button, and then slide this, and now you can't poke. So like when you put it in your bag, it's all sealed up. I just think they're really, really neat, and I hadn't seen it before. But, you know, everybody, I mean, Fiskars has been around forever. We always had those orange-handled junk drawer scissors, you know, at home. I think we had left-handed ones, too, because my mom is left-handed. But this has got the little orange button, the old Fiskars orange. And I just wanted to point those out because I feel like they're just a nice, sturdy little thing. They'd be great for like taking to a retreat or traveling with. But honestly, even just to keep by your side while you're stitching or using the sewing machine, it's so easy to pick up. It's got kind of this rubbery grip here, and I just think that makes it kind of a neat tool. And they're kind of Star Wars looking with the gray, the white, and the orange. They're like BB-8 scissors. Okay. One last thing then, I wanted to mention that I did get to go see Harrison finally. We didn't get to have him for Christmas this last year due to COVID, but we went for Harrison's graduation in Denver. He just finished his master's degree to become a licensed counselor, and it was really nice to see him. I'll put a few pictures here, and his girlfriend Ash, who we hadn't met yet, and she's wonderful and super funny and smart and just great. And it was really fun to get to spend a week with Harrison in Denver. We went to a couple of cool antiques shops. We went to some great restaurants. We went to an Ethiopian restaurant that was really good. We went to a place called Adelita's, which was a Mexican restaurant. And it is so good that they actually have a rule that you can only be in the restaurant for 90 minutes because they don't want you hanging out all day. Because they have a really great bar. I had a strawberry margarita on the rocks. The best, like one of the best cocktails I've ever had. I looked it up later because I was like, did they put magic in there? Because I feel like there's magic in there. When they make their simple syrup, they make it with orange. So it's an orange flavored simple syrup, and then I don't remember what brand of tequila it was, and then strawberries. OMG, amazing. If you get to Denver, Adelita's 100%. But they also live around the corner from this cute little breakfast place where they make donut holes. And they serve them like in egg holders. And they're like super fancy donut holes with like drizzles and things on them. And like, they're like artsy donut holes. I don't know how else to describe them. And then there's a chocolate shop around the corner from them too. I'll see if I can find what that was and put it below if I can. But we had a great time. We went to a Korean market. We shopped for plants. Harrison and Ash are all into plants now. And it was just a nice family get-together. Graham was able to go too. And so Steve and Graham and I all went. And we were in their tiny little, probably 1,000 square foot house that they're renting. And Peaches and Finn were there. And it was good to see them too. But we had a really nice time. So it is very good to be back. I know that this is the point at which a lot of people who are making videos say, I promise it won't be so long until next time. I really need to try to do better. I'll make a video when I get to it. And it's not that I don't think of you guys, and it's not that I don't love making videos. It's just a time issue is all it is. And I do really, really thank y'all for your support this year as always. I have like the best customers and people ever. I get nice emails all the time from people reaching out. And it makes me happy to know that you think of me and miss me when I'm gone. And I'm working hard here for you. Just know that, like, when you don't see me for a while on YouTube, it means I've been living and breathing cross stitch. Because if I had a day where I just was twiddling my fingers, I would totally make a video. I have people regularly reach out and say, you know what I think you should do? And then they'll tell me like a service I should offer, or a product I should carry, or a design that I should make, or, you know, you should really try to make a video every 2 weeks, or you should try to make a video every month. I think it's dangerous to tell people like what they ought to do, because I don't know anyone that says, thank you for the suggestion on what I should do. I had a whole day last week where I just was like, what do I do today? I don't have anything to do. There's zero to do. We're all busy people. And so I think it's wonderful that there are so many floss tubers still making creative content, inspiring content, funny content, heartwarming content. What a great community. And there are so many people to watch, and so many personalities. It's just been a great experience. So until next time, which I don't know when that is, I will see you later, and Zero will see you later. Oh, wait, one more thing. I did have somebody ask this week why Zero is named Zero. We did not name Zero. I may have told the story before, but this was back when I was fostering for the shelter, and I went into the shelter one day and I needed something from the vet techs, medication or a balm or something, I don't remember. And one of the vet techs had Zero on her shoulder. And I said, oh, who is that? And she said, this is Zero. She said, and at that time it's terrible, but there was a lot of euthanasia. There were too many animals coming in and not enough people. And she said, we're euthanizing kittens today because we were out of room. And they don't do that anymore. It's live release now. Or, you know, they've got a live release rate of almost 100%. But back then we did not. And so she said Zero was supposed to be there, but he's so cute. And I said, I'll take him home. And he never left. Like he just belonged to, he walked in. But so he was not a cat that we named. He came with the name Zero, but I don't know that I've ever, like, that name fits him absolutely perfectly. I call him Zero. I call him Z. I call him the Zika virus. I call him Z-Bones, Z-Bonja, Z-Boneyard. I call him all kinds of things. But that's why Zero is called Zero. And he's my number one. All right, guys, that's enough for me. I'll talk to you later. Bye.